House of Hardcore 12, Corona Queens on Friday. House of Hardcore 13, as Tommy was alluding to, 2300 Arena in Philadelphia, PA, the old ECW arena. House of Hardcore 14, I assume tickets ongoing for this one on May 7th. Scotiabank Center, Niagara Falls, Ontario.
I'm going to try to set my attendance record.
Nice. What does it seat up there?
I don't know, but I know it's going to... The biggest event I've had was last time we were at Ted Reeve up in Toronto, and I got 2,700 people in there. They wouldn't let me bring any more people in, which I was a little mad about. But that's okay. So now I want to say it's pretty much set up for like 3,200.
Nice.
So I'm trying to set that record. Hopefully I could do that.
I think you will.
Because the Canadian dollar, the one thing I don't like about going outside, the Canadian dollar is not as strong as it is the American dollar. $5,000 is about 3,600 American. So that's kind of, you got to start doing your math and saying, where's my break even, all that stuff.
Yeah. I don't like math.
Well,
Unless
what are you
we're
talking
to
about, Jericho? You told Chris Jericho you're a math guy. Chris Jericho called him a nerd because he's a math guy.
Yeah, Jericho cut a promo on us the day after WrestleMania.
That's because he's one of the best darn heels in the business.
He's awesome.
He's incredible.
And hopefully he's our friend still, because that's in doubt.
Speaking of Chris Jericho, we turn the page to Monday Night Raw. We were talking before the show. A fast-moving Raw, successful Raw, back-to-back Raws, which we enjoyed. This one, especially important to me, because it's not the night after WrestleMania. Now you're kind of turning the page. You're in the new season. Let's see what they can come up with. And good matches, smart booking. The Shane McMahon trying to explain away why he's in this position. We still kind of stick in our craw, but at this point, you kind of, you don't look a gift horse in the mouth, I guess is the best way to explain
I
it.
guess for all the naysayers or the haters, they want to say, well, it makes no sense that Shane McMahon...
Again, I don't talk like that. Go ahead.
Well, if you ever hung around Vince, and Vince would be like, why not have Shane running, But...
because the stipulation was that if he lost to The Undertaker... he would not be running.
All right, but I mean, come on. It's WWE. They kind of don't always stick to those stipulations.
Obviously.
It's not House of Hardcore. Come on now. It's funny. Someone asked, hey, can Beulah do an autograph thing with you? And I was like, no, Beulah's done. She's out of the business because I did it at House of Hardcore. So I refused to get her a booking. But I stick to my stipulations. No, man, it's real to me, damn it. Tracy Brooks will never, ever do anything in wrestling again. You know why? Because you have to have that validity in this business, which I get why fans don't like it. But if you're with Shane McMahon, but if it's a good product, kind of just let it slide. I think it's fabulous to see the Wyatts. I don't want to say step up, but back in the main event picture. Me personally, I loved working with all those guys, even the giant baby Gerber man himself, Mr. Strowman. But a lot of fans have been, what's up with, the Wyatts? Have they dropped the ball with the Wyatts? Dreamer, Dudley, you come in there, get them to, and then, they're... But you know what? They just did something with The Rock and John Cena. Some liked it, some didn't. But to see them main event, and I think it also makes... I feel the Wyatts will be the new Undertaker and Kane. I think that's a great mix for them. They are all so super talented. But to see them in the mix with Roman Reigns, I mean, think about the possibilities that could happen with that. And I enjoyed it. And if you also saw, I've been great friends with Shane for a lot of years. If you want to see a real moment which was captured on television, was when he was talking to Sammy and AJ. That's how Shane truly is. That was awesome. That was cool. He loves and appreciates hard work and wrestling like that. That wasn't just a pre-tape or a live thing. That's how it really is. He's an amped up human being, and he does appreciate wrestling. Because trust me and him were. I've had the dubious honor of always kind of getting him ready for all his matches since about 2001. So I had to, and he's the real deal.
Did anybody try to talk him out of the spot at WrestleMania?
I have no clue. I mean,
would you have tried to talk him out of that spot?
I actually volunteered to be, I was trying to get myself booked on WrestleMania too, and I volunteered to take the Mick Foley bump off the Hell in a Cell during his match, but it didn't happen. And no, man, you think about him, and he hasn't been around for a long time, and to come back, a man of his stature, a man of his age, and to jump off the top of he told me, you know, he was like, because I texted him after. He's like, man, it was rough. And, you know, there's something called gravity. And after 15 feet, your body actually starts to speed up when it's going down.
Well, actually, 9.8 meters per second squared.
See, that's why
I am a math guy!
You're a numbers
I thought
guy.
it was 15 feet. Well, then you even know, and then, you know, it's velocity and all that stuff. And that's geometry, right? Isn't it?
Angles,
Geometry?
forces. It sounds like
Physics.
geometry.
Geometry,
Physics.
It's all the same thing.
Physics
All right,
would
whatever.
probably be more appropriate anyway.
He's about 230 pounds jumping off the top of that, and he was like, it was high, as well as doing it in front of your children. You know, that's
crazy.
Yeah, and he doesn't need to be doing that, but that's, again, his love for the business.
He's a McMahon.
Yep.
Stephanie takes a spear, he jumps off a cage.
What
That
a
makes
spear
sense.
she took, too.
Oh my God! Those McMahons will take punishment for the sake of the fans. You got to give them credit.
It's
For
WrestleMania. You
yeah.
got to take one bit.
Last night, Raw, they launched the tournament, which I like tournaments. I think it adds a sporting feel. It seems fun, too, because they add the New Day flavor to it. But just looking at the WWE landscape now of tag teams, they have reloaded in a major way. Anderson and Gallows makes their debut, and they beat the crap out of Uso 1 and 2. And then Enzo and Kaz and the Vaudevillains get their call-up from NXT. Plus, you got Primo and Epico, who haven't even made their debut, but we've seen vignettes, which is good. Slow play it. Get away from their prior gimmick, which certainly is a good thing. Lucha Dragons are a tag team. Obviously, Dudley's New Day. You got a kind of a robust tag team division. Did I fail to mention the Golden Truth? Do you want to call them a tag team? I kid. How many of these teams you think are sticking around? Is this good for WWE? We always say tag team wrestling is good for WWE for various reasons. Probably tops on the list. And you get a better bang for your buck. You get two guys out there with exposure, with airtime, with a payday, the whole bit. I think it's great for pro wrestling. Your thoughts on tag team wrestling and what we saw last night on Raw?
Always have been a huge proponent for tag team wrestling. It's exciting, and I think the tag team division is so solid. For a while it was lacking, and then it just kind of really picked up and boomed. And you look at, you know, the overall landscape, it's exciting, just like you said. Or, you know, a tournament, it adds to, you know, hey, what's going to happen? And to me right now, one of the most popular acts is the New Day. I feel they are the modern version of DX, just how the fans are so into their stuff, and rightfully so. Those guys have all literally took nothing and became something. And a lot of, you know, my gauging of stuff is when I'm at indie shows, and, you know, the kids are saying, hey, do you have Roman Reigns t-shirts? Or as well as, you know, do you have the unicorn things that they wear on the head, which is so absurd. But again, they got something so absurd over. But people are so into their entrance and like the bootios and, you know, the way they do it. I love it. And to me, the biggest part of the, you know, whole Attitude Era was all the tag teams, where you have the Dudleys, the Hardys, Edge and Christian, the APA, and I think we have a whole new generation of that going on right now, and it's, to me, it's all part of the whole boom.
I love what you said, new generation. I feel really strongly, and I haven't felt this way in probably a decade, that people really want the next crop of wrestlers to move up into the main event picture. We thought we were going to get it out of 30. It's tough to do when you're the WWE because you still have such big names on the roster. But I really feel over these last couple of weeks on Raw that there really is that push for something different, something new. Do you feel the same way?
Yes. I mean, fans have been clamoring for a change, and I think, I know we've talked about this before, social media has changed the face of television as well. You know, 2 years ago it changed the main event of WrestleMania, did it again the year after that. It's so important, but fans have clamored for it, but finally you have to, I don't care what you're doing, you have to listen to your audience. If you're a baseball team like the Mets right now, everyone's going crazy because they're not scoring runs. If they don't continue to make, you know, score runs, guess what? Someone's going to lose their job. You need to listen to your audience, and WWE kind of sort of is. And you think of, you know, everyone's clamoring new talent, and hey, that's what's going to, you know, happen. And then your naysayers, once the only, you know, problem with bringing up all the new talent, one, you have NXT fills a void. But then we gotta have to start getting rid of some talent, and then it's like, oh, why are you burying this person? Or if people decide not to re-sign, or if their contracts run out in WWE not to re-sign, then it's like, oh, why did they let them go? There's only my hardest part of running shows. I can only have top 8-9 matches. There's only so many places on a card, and if you have, I have a 3-hour show. They have a 3-hour television show. You can only put so many people on there at one time. So, hey, that's the nature of the business. It's, in football, they have all, I watch Hard Knocks. When they have to go and cut people, it sucks. It's compelling television, but it's part of the game, and it's part of our business. So that's the only negative to all these guys coming up. But, I love the fact that the tag team division is thriving and will continue. I'm a huge Roman Reigns supporter, and I'll tell you why. I was there live in Florida on a house show, him and Sheamus, and I cannot praise Sheamus enough for being a great heel. And everyone's talking about, Roman Reigns and the Wyatts pairing together, but you got to have great heels to actually work with that. Sheamus, Del Rio, and Rusev, who I'm big fans of, the bad guys. And you think about the people are going to be on their feet for all of those matches, for the haters to see AJ Styles win, and it's again, we work for the reactions and we work for people talking about it. The next day, on Monday morning quarterbacks or Tuesday morning quarterbacks, I'm quarterbacking right now because it's Tuesday. I think it's a great time, but Roman Reigns being the focal point. I watched him and Sheamus work about 25 minutes in front of on a Sunday show, and they had a WrestleMania match, and the people were so into it. And right then and there, I was like, that guy is pure money. And I saw it live, and not that I just watched it, and I totally saw why he's the man, and he should be the man. But guess what? It's going to be we got Seth Rollins eventually going to come back, Randy Orton. You think of all these people who are going to try to knock the man off his perch. I wish he went out there and talked like Mike Tyson, who couldn't really cut a strong promo, but because of the way he actually spoke, you'd be like, I could kick that man's butt. Listen to how he talks. But yet, Mike Tyson was the baddest man on the planet. And if they kind of went that way with Roman Reigns, because, you think about it, we love to hate Mike Tyson, and then we just loved Mike Tyson. So it's an interesting time for the Roman Reigns lovers and haters. I'm a Roman Reigns lover, by the way.
Another novel part about Raw last night, Tommy, Dave, and Doug here busted open House of Hardcore 12 on Friday in Queens, House of Hardcore 13 on Saturday, House of Hardcore 13 I should say, in Philly on Saturday, 14 up in Niagara Falls, Ontario, Canada. That's May 7th, houseofhardcore.net. A novel part about Raw last night, how about having that match with AJ and Zayn, and you're thinking to yourself, all right, you got your number one contender, but Zayn could be in the match, the way Shane booked it. And then Kevin Owens with his issues, he gets escorted out of the building, and you get a 15, 17-minute match with a clean ending. You get a winner and a loser, and then they both go on to their things. I would assume Zayn and Owens are going to lock horns. AJ obviously has Roman Reigns. What's wrong with that? That's great.
Nothing is wrong with that. You can have a clean winner and a clean loser, and in that situation, both men got even more over, got even more popular.
You said that backstage segment with Shane too. That little piece, little cherry on the sundae.
That was real. And I look at wrestling and kind of from a real professional, sports light, in the sense of we have a winner, we have a loser, we can continue our story no matter how we want it. But two guys can go out there, professional fighters, go out there and fight and say, hey man, good fight. I look forward to working with you another time. That's it. And you can do that, especially when you have a match of that quality.
Match of that quality, wrestlers of that quality, Dave. Nice also to see, AJ's done his thing all over the world. Zayn's has done his thing all over the world as El Generico. They both kind of embrace, and they have a little moment back there. That's a mark-out moment for a lot of fans. Just that moment between the two of them.
I don't want to say it because it could bite me in the ass, but it does seem like since WrestleMania, it's only been a couple weeks, that they have turned the page on a lot of stuff. I mean, it's crazy to me that the story going into WrestleMania was how bad the show has been, to the point where Shane is cutting a promo saying about how bad the show has been, and Shane takes over Raw for 2 weeks, and the show's been better. I mean, it's crazy. Only in the world of wrestling can you have a storyline about how bad your show has been.
correct. I wouldn't know what that is about with being from House of Hardcore.
No, of course, that's
However,
completely different. You would never have that story because that's never bad. But it is kind of head-scratching when you have a 3-hour and 10-minute show, and for 3 months leading into WrestleMania, your back storyline for a match and a stipulation is about how bad the show has been.
houseofhardcore.net. Great source of information, great source to buy tickets, the whole 9 yards. You also get a great picture of RVD right there. Is that the incredulous look? I don't know what that look is.
That's just him saying the whole effing show, or Rob Van Dam pointing to his shoulder. I'm just happy he wasn't high in that picture.
It's him saying he's not a good guy, not a bad guy. He's the guy.
Rob is the guy.
Yeah.
And you know what? Talking about Rob doesn't really want to wrestle that much anymore. He's kind of at that point where he's, I may be hanging it up soon. And I told him, Rob, if this is going to be your last, please, I will book that in a heartbeat as your last. But then you really have to retire. But the fact that my friend was like, I really want to come and work and, wrestle for you means a lot to me.
That's cool.
And for giving the fans kind of a dream matchup. Chris Hero versus Rob Van Dam, night number 1, and then Rob Van Dam versus Rhino, night number 2. I think it's a great mix for Rob Van Dam and pretty much the 2 places that made Rob Van Dam famous. I did it last time for Tajiri, and now I'm doing it for Rob, and I love that.